Now, before we go on to a program that'll be pretty heavy on national politics, I want to mention what we've been seeing unfold in the Middle East. The sickening hostage exchange deals have continued. I find it hard to stomach the depraved way that Israel's been forced to release dozens of terrorists and murderers for every innocent hostage freed by Hamas. And so, on the weekend, 3 more hostages were released. Innocent men who'd been robbed of more than a year of their lives, obviously have suffered horrible cruelty, and now when they were freed, they were paraded around by masked Hamas terrorists, made to make public statements, used as propaganda tools right up to their final moments in captivity. One of the men, Eli Sharabi, who was kidnapped from a kibbutz on October the 7th, 2023, he even told the crowd he was looking forward to seeing his family. Obviously, the monsters from Hamas hadn't told him that they'd killed his wife and his 2 teenage children in the October the 7th massacre. And his brother Yossi, who was also kidnapped, had been killed in captivity. None of us can imagine the pain. This is an ongoing atrocity by Hamas. Every day, their crimes against humanity continue. And it's made worse by the celebrations as hundreds of terrorists are released. So much of the warped media coverage offers a false equivalence between the innocent hostages and the terrorist prisoners. They even relay complaints from the terrorists about their treatment in Israeli prisons. Spare us. I want to remind you about the Bibas family. Young mother Shiri Bibas and her 2 little boys, Ariel, just 4 years old, and Kafir, just 9 months old, were kidnapped by Hamas terrorists on October the 7th, 2023, and they were taken to Gaza. Shiri's parents were slaughtered, and her husband Yarden was also taken hostage. Yarden was released in one of these hostage deals 2 weeks ago. But what of his wife and those 2 beautiful baby boys? We don't really know, although it's believed they are dead. Hamas claims they were killed in bombardments during the war, not long after they were taken hostage. The idea that these children and their mother are dead after being kidnapped in such a sick and callous way by these terrorists, well, it's just as depraved as anything you could imagine. And we must never forget them. Hamas are clearly still in control in Gaza. They're now happy to parade with their green bandanas and AK-47s while a ceasefire is in place. They're out of their civilian clothes, but they dare not show their faces. They still hold dozens of hostages and the bodies of dozens of dead hostages. They are monstrous and they need to be eliminated. Donald Trump says the treatment of the hostages is disgraceful.
People that were healthy people a reasonably short number of years ago, and you look at them today, they look like they've aged 25 years. They literally look like the old pictures of Holocaust survivors. The same thing. I mean, the same thing. And I don't know how long we're going to take that.
Yeah, Trump says this is testing his patience. And while he's still talking about rebuilding Gaza, all that seems a long way off. The point is that Gaza is clearly still run by the Islamist terrorists of Hamas, and that can't stand, which is why it's hard to imagine this ceasefire holding in the long term.